Hey Gemini, and welcome to my channel Alchemist 8. Justin here, and I hope you're having a great week so far. So what I'm going to be doing is a tarot card reading for the week of October 9th through the 15th. And just for those of you who are new, which is everybody right now, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, all right? So with that being said, usually that's a flawless transfer, but we're going to power through it, Gemini. Your space has been cleansed. The gems are keeping it pure. I'm going to pull 15 cards. I'm going to get my shit together is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull 15 cards. They're going to be in 5 groups of 3. The middle card, or the middle group, is going to be the nature of your problem. The upper left and upper right are going to be some possible future outcomes you're considering. The bottom left is going to be some perspectives that you might want to keep in mind when dealing with the nature of this problem. And I'll tell you, the nature of my problem is shuffling. And the bottom right is going to be how your higher self is playing into the situation. Which, higher self, help me shuffle, because these fingers are not working. If you're curious as well, the deck that I'm using is Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. The imagery on these cards are really cool. I enjoy using this deck. So let me do one more good shuffle here just to show you that I can shuffle. And we'll get right into it. There we go. All right, so higher selves, what do we have in store for Gemini this week? Nice. Let's see, but you go over here. Nice. Okay. And then, bam, yeah, Gemini. Oh, Gemini, this is Gemini. Look at this. All right. Huh, okay. Okay, let's set that down there. Let's straighten these up a little bit and see what we're working with here. A lot of trump cards here. Good amount. So, yeah, universe is, your higher self is, like I said, busy. So, for the nature of your problem, you have the 9 of Disc. And then the cards that came partnered with it are the Queen of Disc and the 2 of Wands. So with the 9 of Disc, this is a card of gaining wealth. You know, this is about if you're considering something in business. Earth usually has to do with matters of business, so it could be something for work. But this is about I feel like this week you're trying to figure out how to achieve that 9 of Disc, you know, and I think that's appropriate how the Queen of Disc pops up here, and I feel like this represents the queens and the princes in the deck usually can represent people, and I do feel like this represents you, Gemini. If you can see it here, she's looking out into this field, or this what would you call that? I don't know if you want to call it a desert, if you will, but she's trying to figure out how to turn this into an oasis, you know. I feel like this is kind of telling you this week that you're gonna find that inspiration or the means to achieve this 9 of Disc here. The Queen of Disc she's very wise, she's very prudent, you know. She knows how to get, you know, make things happen. And I feel like that's really going to come in handy too with this 2 of Wands. This 2 of Wands is you know, wands have to do with just like energy in general, and this is like fire at its purest. This is Mars and Aries, which Mars is Aries' ruler, and Aries is the sign of initiating things. You know, they're the go-getters, the trailblazers. You know, they're the ones that are going to get stuff started. And I think that's what this is telling you here. You know, this is the 2 of Wands is kind of like a balance of finding that balance of power, you know, that harmony. And I think that's what you're getting, that's what you're coming into this week. You're going to go, you know, with whatever if this is a project at work, whether this is a project for yourself. I'm getting more of a project related things, but, you know, it's never bad to work on yourself too. But I do feel like you're trying to achieve some sort of abundance here. And I think that with you, you know, once you find that harmony, I do think that that's coming. This is, I'm not going to beat the nature of your problem too bad, because this doesn't feel like a crazy problem. This is a pretty good problem to have, I will say. You and Capricorn have had some pretty, at least if I feel like with the natures, your energies were kind of similar. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm really getting intuitively with this area here. I won't spend too much time in it. Yeah, I feel like you're really, I think you're really going to come into yourself this week, and yeah, really harness this. I think if you go in with that mind, with that Queen of Disc, like, not go in thinking like, oh gosh, what am I going to do with, like, she's not looking at this field thinking, what am I going to do with all of this? She's like, yeah, I'm about to tear this up. Like, oh, I've been waiting for this. So yeah, I feel like once you go in with that Queen of Disc mentality this week, that Nine of Disc is right around the corner. We ain't even I ain't tripping, so you don't need a trip either. And you know what? If it helps, I have a Gemini moon, so it's like I'm basically you. We're talking to ourselves right now, but not in a crazy way. Move on, Justin. So on the let's go with yeah, because both of your the future options are really solid. I feel like let's start with here. For some of you, I'm going to start on the upper right hand corner. For some of you, fingers, come on, one more. There we go. For the right hand side, you have the Death card, the Sun card, and the Lust card, which is awesome. The Death card deals with transformation. So some of you might be when I really said that you were coming into your Queen of Disc energy, I meant it, apparently, because some of you, I feel like, are getting ready to transform into that. You're going through this state right now. I feel like there's been this shift in mentality. It went from I think you're gonna make that shift from like, oh my goodness, things are so overwhelming, to like, oh, what was I even worried about? Like, I totally have this. And I think, once you get through that transformation, look at the sun. Look at that sun. So warm, so welcoming. This is happiness. This is endgame. This is Bay. Everybody loves the sun. And so I feel like with some of you this week, this transformation, I feel like it's really going to pay off for you. However that looks like. The Death card, I feel like it doesn't necessarily have to be something like so life changing. I think that it's transformation, change, big or small, it's going to happen. Anything that leads you a little bit closer to the Sun card is totally worth it. And I think that is too, this is asking you here with the Lust card. I feel like this is asking you to, the Lust card represents courage and strength. It's like life force. So I feel like this is really challenging you to go in with courage, to embrace this transformation with open arms. Look at her. She's not worried about, yeah, sure, she's naked on this 7-headed lion thing. We don't talk about it. But she's not worried about what they're thinking, because she's in control. She has the reins here. Look at this little guy. He's like, what the hell? He's her whole thing is she's sharing the sun. Right now she's using her courage, and now she's sharing the sun with the universe. Now she's creating her these little orbs here are, I want to say, they're supposed to represent, it's like the tree of life orbs, but they're not formed yet. She's the her universe is just getting started. She's basking in the greatness that is, what is to come. So I feel like this is I like that. I really like that reading for some of you. I feel like that's this is going to be a good transformation for you here. Yeah, I won't beat that too long. That's, yeah, Gemini. This is turning out to be a fairly easy reading. I'm gonna tell you what I tell Capricorn. Give me a challenge. For others, and really, this is so sick, guys. Look at this. You got the Chariot here. It's Cancer energy. Scorpio, Leo. Okay, yeah, that's Cancer energy here. You got you have the Empress, and then you have the Three of Disc. So with the Chariot is about victory. You know, this is even if there was like a struggle getting to this victory, it wasn't so much that he was bothered. You know, this is and I like with this Chariot card here too. A lot usually the Chariots in other decks that I've seen, it's they're all going towards something. But in this one, he's reached his destination. Like this is no, he's done going. Now we're meditating. He's got this is supposed to represent the Holy Grail, I want to say, and he's just meditating on his victory, because this was a true triumph. What's going on here? I feel like with in relationship to getting towards this nine of disc here, I really feel like it's it's really going to be as simple as I feel like that going in with that Queen of Disc mentality that you got this, and not really second guessing that, and really keeping that Two of Wands energy going into that. Like I got this, and then double down on it. You know, this is because this is super sick. And then I think now, I feel like, after you get to this stuff, you've worked hard and stuff. I feel like this is asking you, once you've achieved that victory, I think the Empress, to me, this is a self-care card. I don't have anything else to labor as. Like you're just gonna have to deal with it, girl. But this is my self-care card for like anyone that I read for. She's all about beauty, love. This is Venus. So again, beauty, love, aesthetics. I mean, look at her. She's got this lovely swan here. She's got her. I want to say this is a flower of Isis. I want to say, but everything about her is so tranquil, so serene, and I think that this is calling after you've worked hard. With this three of discs, this is about you've been working on a project. I feel like, and it's time to, I feel like it reminds you. Oh, you know what? I have a better way of putting this. With these combinations of cards, I feel like this is kind of like a work smart, play smart type of energy. It's you get finished here, you want to start another project, but first take a little time. Gather your energy. Make sure that you're feeling in a good headspace before you going out to go out and starting something else. It's one thing to like to stay busy. I'm all for keeping the body in motion, but sometimes it is good you have to take time to rest. And I feel like that's what the Empress sometimes calls for. If you want to have her energy, she's getting her sleep. She works when she needs to, but right now she's like, I'm looking good. I want to make sure that I'm presentable for when I go out to attempt this new project. I have all this energy ready, and that I can take this beauty, or I being you, Gemini, and take this out and spread it to other ones. Give everyone else, have everyone else bask in the sun. Just because it was over here doesn't mean that you can't throw some sun in it as well, Gemini, because this is all part of your future. I didn't say that, the nice thing about the future is it's ultimately your choice. You decide where this oh, I'm gonna get there in a hot second, but you decide where the Wheel of Fortune goes. I really feel like with this with this reading here, as far as your future, I think as long as you I feel as long as you're kind of staying true to you and just remembering, take care of yourself too. As much as you want to give to others, give to yourself as well. And I think you're gonna be solid. Now, I do feel here. Now we're gonna kind of shift here. We got all this goodness, but there is I do see some moments, potentials for mindfulness over here. That's what I like to think of these, like your more so negative cards, as you will. They're just like little alerts to maybe practice some mindfulness. For where some perspectives to consider where your headspace might be at. You have the Fortune card, the I hope that future stuff resonated with you well. Okay, but you had what was that? You had the Fortune card, the Five of Wands, and the Five of Swords. Okay, I'm back on track. So with the Fortune card, I think that's I feel like with the fortune, this when the fortune card shows up, it is a good sign. This is like good fortune is on the horizon, but it doesn't just fortune doesn't just fall in our laps. Unfortunately, sometimes we gotta work for it. I'd love for abundance to fall out of the sky, and I'm getting there. And I think, but it's one of those things. It's not gonna do it. I have to, and again, I'm speaking through you, Gemini. It's you, you have to move that wheel. The wheel, if you don't do anything with it, it's just gonna stay still. But the second you move it, then your fortune starts turning, and then that wasn't it definitely more graceful than what I just did. But once you get that wheel a spinning and get that glare out of there, you got it, Gemini. What I am seeing though, maybe I feel like there's some, I am sensing a little bit of worry, or maybe some like strain in energy with this five of wands. The five of wands is it's a card of like strife, fighting, competition. It also can be, I like to think of it too, it's kind of like, don't be, I feel like it calls us to be generous. It's one thing to be generous with your energy, but to be careful to overgive. Again, I feel like this is kind of partnering with that Empress energy. You can't just spend, because eventually you're going to run yourself ragged, and that's what I feel like this is going to cause. This, it's like when I think strife, it's just like, sometimes when if we're feeling drained or if we're feeling too spread out or burnt out, it's only because we haven't taken the time to heal and to get these energies back on track. So I feel like with this here, this is asking you to, it's one thing to give, but to be mindful of how you give. You can give more and consistently if you're taking care of yourself, because ultimately, if you keep running that dry, it is going to lead, I feel like, to this five of swords here, which the five of swords is. It's a card of like, it says it's a card of defeat, but I feel like it's a card of like of worry, of how would I put that? I would put the five of swords as a it's a feeling of like failure and anxiety, possibly poverty, that worry of that, what am I going to do? This is swords have to deal with mental states. And I feel like with this here, it's like you're kind of, your energy's spent, and you're just like, well, if I don't keep hustling, if I don't keep grinding, then I'm not going to get this nine of disc. And that's not entirely true. I feel like this, sometimes in society, I feel like there's this pressure to, like, you always, you fit, have you ever noticed, like, you'll see, like, on a news interview or something with like a celebrity, they'll be like, oh, you just got done finishing this great project. So yeah, it was so much fun. Well, what are you gonna do next? And it's like, wait, I have to do something next. I was actually planning on resting, but I guess I can start something new. And there's nothing, again, there's nothing wrong with being prolific, but it's, at some point you do need to keep in mind that if you're feeling this, like, this worry of anxiety for the future or things like that, it sometimes is, if you take a minute and just be in the now, all that anxiety, that fear, that fear of defeat, that fear of burnout and all that, it'll gradually start going away, and then you can give the energy then you can properly give your energy to get this sun. You're not, you're conserving your strength to get this sun. I don't even feel like these, really, I feel like these two are really, for just overall energy, I feel like these two are like the highlights. Empress, I feel like I had the Empress up quite a bit on Virgo's reading as well. I want to say it was, but these two, I feel like this is asking you, I feel like the overall message, if I just did this from a glance and picked two cards to keep in mind for this nature, it would be these two. To meditate and to do self-care. just when you get in these moments of, when you get kind of in these, like, stuck in these Five of Swords, Five of Wands moments, I find that just taking the time to get back to now really, and whatever that looks like for you, you don't necessarily have to meditate, um, it could be sitting down reading a book, just getting into a space where you're not overly stimulated. There's so much coming at us all the time. And I feel like that's, yeah, there's so much coming at us all the time. And I feel like that too, if you could just get into whatever your happy place looks like, go there go there. Everybody, I love a good happy place. It's, yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting with this, some perspectives to consider. I feel like this is, you keep your fortune in mind, and make sure that you're taking care of you on either end, ultimately make sure that you're taking care of you is really what was my long-winded way of saying. So, last but not least, for your how your higher self is playing in the background, or what it wants you to consider in the background. You have the Five of Disc, the Two of Swords, let's get that off there, and the Ten of Swords. So, with this here, I do feel like it is, again, your future self is saying, this is showing like, okay, worry, anxiety. Five of Disc is about two. It's very similar. All the fives, they kind of encompass that general sort of like, it's very future driven fears. I feel like, it's like the Five of Disc is like intense strain, like financial loss, inactivity, like sometimes if you get too bogged down in the worry, it's like it can overwhelm us and stop. And I feel like this is the your higher self telling you to not get caught up in that Five of Swords, Five of Disc mentality. That it's that you're gonna come to, once you get over that out of your head. Being an air sign and whatnot, we can overthink things sometimes. I don't know about, I won't speak for all of you, but I know I have a Gemini moon, and sometimes I feel like it's, you kind of can get lost in all of the little details. And if you don't, I know for me, like, it helps if I'm getting anxious or anything like that, just write it down, make it tangible, because if you can't see it, it makes it, it just, I feel like it builds and builds, and it becomes this mountain that is just like, how am I going to tackle this? When really, really with this Two of Swords, this is just like, this is peace after trying times. This is you finding your balance again, kind of your mind coming at ease. And I feel like with this Ten of Swords popping up here, usually it's it says ruin on here, but I think it's implying, what are destructive mindsets that are leading us to ruin. How can we, because I'd like to think of the Ten of Swords as a coming to an end of like faulty reasoning, and it's or like it's ending, or like ending, spiritually, you're kind of ending a delusion, if you will. And I feel like that's really really amplified with this, with the Two of Swords here. So I feel like you're realizing that this Five of Wands, Five of Swords, Five of Disc, all this, take all this, lump all this anxiety, put it in a bag, and let's keep it moving. This is, I think you're coming to the end of that. If this is something that's been weighing down on your head, again, do those things that make you feel good, meditate and all that good stuff. Enjoy your victory, treat yourself, and then get back to work. But yeah, that's kind of what I got for you, from Gemini. It's definitely one of the shorter readings that I've had this week, but this is pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and shift back over here. Ooh, that was more, look at that transition. See, it all's gonna work out for you on the end. That's where I feel like with this death card, I feel like it's how that transition was. I feel like this is, once you get through that transition, all that worry and stuff is going to go away. This is, it's all temporary. If it's like when you're in that moment, it can all feel like it's when is this going to end? Because this, I'm not going to diminish this. I'm not speaking light of these cards. They are they're valid things to worry about, but at least I'm finding that when you, it's only as overwhelming as you allow it. And I know that sounds like an oversimplification, but if you, let me ask you this. I challenge you with this. When you're feeling happy, bet you're all up in it. You are feeding, when you feed and all of that, when you're like, oh my gosh, something great has happened, what do you want to do? You're telling everyone about it. You're giving this, giving the sun more light, more light, more light. And, and I feel like it's the same thing with the bad stuff, where how you can inflate happiness. You can also do that with not so happy things. And I don't think that they need to necessarily be considered not so happy. It's just like, these are things to, why do I feel this way? What am I feeling anxious about? Have I been with let's say with this Five of Discs, have I been spending more than I should have? I told this has to do with money. Have I been spending more than I should have? Five of Wands, have I been taking a break? Have I just been go, 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 and not stopped? This is, have I been in my head? Have I been in this like defeatist mindset? I really like these are just questions. Like, where's your head at? And if it is there, is it serving you a purpose? And if it's not, address it. I don't think it should necessarily be ignored. Address it and treat it. Give it, if something, I wish the adjustment card was here, but it's like, if something is out of balance, something is always, you do that thing to get it back in balance. This is just kind of showing you where you can grow, where you have some more, because we always are, this, working on this is a 24/7 job, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. I'm gonna do it again. Empress, self-care. Even if I just had to pick one card, self-care, and just like, I find that everything, and don't linger in it too long. I feel like there's a balance. Let's do, your higher self wants you to balance. Yeah, that feels pretty good, Gemini. I hope that resonates with you. I didn't want to, I felt like that reading was a little bit shorter than I had expected, so I might be overcompensating here on the explanation, but I hope that makes sense for you. Dan and I just love talking with Geminis. You know how we are. So yeah, that's what I have for you as far as a reading. Now we're gonna move into this fun segment. It is the Celestial Weekly News with Justin Morris, and what this is just to kind of before we get into that, I almost forgot. Please, if like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully this resonated with you. And to get a clearer picture of what's going on, make sure to check your sun, moon. Well, you already know your sun. That's why you're here. Check your moon, check your rising, check your Mercury, check your Venus. You are more, and I've been telling all the signs this, you are more nuanced than just your sun sign. If we were just our sun sign, can you imagine that of however many billions of people on the planet acting like the same 12 things? No, you're way more nuanced than that. So I definitely challenge you to look into that, and you'll find out why in a second, because now we're back to the Celestial Weekly News. And one of the things, yesterday, October 8th, Pluto went direct. And so this is time to kind of bring some things to light here. Maybe some things that you've been pushing on the back burner. Have you been, okay. No, have you been spending responsibly? What is this worry here? Bring it to light. If not, what has been, why have you been feeling defeated? Why do you feel anxious? Air it out. Burned out? Air it out. That's what Pluto retro going direct, kind of means. This is a good time to kind of bring things to light. Today, On the 9th is tonight is going to be the full moon in Aries. So this is also a good time too if you are whatever this new project is going on, if you're starting something, this is a great time. Oh, this is a perfect time to do it. This is Aries. Aries and Mars and Aries. This is a great time. I feel like to something about this month of October. I feel like it's been a pretty decent month so far. So I feel like this is a good time to, if you have something that maybe you've been considering, or that you that's just now kind of starting to come into play, definitely invest in that. Go with it. Be mindful. Definitely make sure you got all your ducks in a row, but don't sit on it too long is what I say. I feel like there's it's that happy medium of you don't want to come underprepared, but you don't want to like overplan and then not move. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Excuse me. There's that. Lastly, on that, and then I'm gonna get into retrogrades, and then we'll do a surprise card at the end. Lastly, on the 10th, Mercury enters Libra, and Mercury is your ruler. So, and that's about communication. It's going to be, or at least Mercury has to deal with communication, which, duh. And this is a good time, with it being in Libra. This is like, speech is finally balanced again, with, if you had, let's say during Mercury retrograde, if you did, you might have said something well, because we do say sometimes we say like thoughtless things, or things that should have been a thought bubble. But let's say something came out how you should. Maybe there might have been some quarreling going on or whatever. This is a good time to reconcile, to kind of fix those things. Speech is that I feel like people are more receptive to conversation. So this is definitely a good time. If you have any kind of things that you want to fix or kind of repair, definitely do that. Excuse me one second. I'm going to take a quick swig here. Okay. And then retrogrades. I won't spend too much time on them. Well, we'll see. You got Jupiter in retrograde until November 23rd. Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces, which is the 11th and 12th house. No, sorry, 9th and 12th house. And Jupiter has to deal with matters of philosophy or expansion of consciousness. And this is a good time to kind of this is like it's a really nice time to just kind of go within, almost had a jumper, to kind of go within. I feel like once you've gotten that victory, to just kind of meditate on that. What does that mean for your spiritual growth, for your how does that do for your growth on a personal level? How does that reflect on that, and then how can I be better in the next moment? So I feel like that's what Jupiter retrogrades for, and it'll be that until next month, the 23rd. Saturn is in retrograde until the 22nd of this month, October, and it rules Capricorn and Aquarius, which is that's the 10th and 11th house. And Saturn has to deal with time, karma, responsibilities. It's I like to think of it as kind of like the parent of the group. Saturn can be kind of a curmudgeon sometimes. It's like, I shouldn't say it like that. He's not really grumpy, but the analogy that I've used for Saturn is like it's like when your parents go out of town and then you're like, woo, party, and then Saturn kind of comes back in. It's like, what are you doing with your life? Like, well, who told you to do any of this? And that's where Saturn retrograde is a time to, time kind of slows down a little bit, and it's sort of it gives you time to kind of reevaluate your life and think about your karma. And if you found yourself in like a situation where, let's say you're spending a little more than you should. Let's say, I don't want to say there's like for example, let's say there's like with this, I feel like maybe if there's a gambling kind of issue or something like that, how do we, and you find yourself, every week it's like, I don't have any money. Well, probably because you're gambling it all. Or, gosh, why do I feel so tired? Probably because you're burnt out. So it gives you time to kind of like reflect on all that stuff. Sorry, and then I got notes here because these retrogrades are something else, all these dates.
Um, with Uranus in, oh, excuse me, we're getting comfortable, Gemini. I feel, look at that, we're bonding. Um, with Uranus in retrograde, that's going to last until settle in. It's going to last until the end of January next year. And Uranus rules over Aquarius, which is the 11th house, and it has to deal with surprises, innovation, liberation, and like revolution. And the analogy I like to use for Uranus is imagine that you're imagine that you're at this dinner table. You've set this stuff up. Everyone's looking at it. This is so nice. And Uranus is like, I don't like it. Flips the table. It's like, oh, what? But during retrograde time, this is a time to, in retrograde just in general, this is just a time to reflect. In general, when any planet is in retrograde. This is a time for, I feel like Uranus goes from flipping tables to like, okay, it sees your arrangement, but I don't like this tablecloth. So I'm going to casually pull this off. You can still, it gives you time to adjust things. It feels more like you're in control as opposed to Uranus just coming in just like, well, no, I don't like any of this. And lastly, yeah, I'm going to leave that with Uranus. And then lastly with Neptune, because I don't want to keep you too much longer. Neptune rules over Pisces in the 12th house, and it has to do with, because she's feminine nature along with Venus. She has to deal with like illusions, the astral realm, dream-like stuff. Everything's really deceptions. That's kind of that's Neptune's bread and butter. It's going to be in retrograde until the 3rd of December. And Neptune in retrograde is about kind of like shining light on the illusions that we might have started to believe, that we kind of tell ourselves, I guess. But it does it in a gentle way. Kind of like how like a nurturer would. It's going to be just like, okay, I know you don't see anything, but we're just going to kind of casually lift these blinds up, like, oh, okay, that's a little bright, okay, because it's going to take its time. Neptune is in retrograde 40% of the year. So this, it's not going to be such a shocker. This does kind of give you some time to like, and heralding the end of delusions. That's what Neptune is about. I should have just threw a card on it. Let me look at your cards. Anything else I want to throw on there? No. Okay, so that is this week's celestial news. Thank you for sticking around with me. I'm going to pull a card at the bottom here to close us out here. All right, we got the Princess of Wands. So lastly, with the Princess of Wands, I think this is she is any kind of the wands. I feel like she kind of reminds me similar with the Knight of Wands, just not as intense. She is very ambitious, very bold, but she gives me very reckless vibes. She's not like, her heart's in the right place. I like her fire, but you look at her stuff here. I don't know how well you can see that. Her tiger is asleep, which, I mean, that's cool to have a tiger, but I'd like to see, I don't want to come see a sleeping tiger. I don't think she forgot her clothes, but, people are going to have questions. We're not even going to talk about this hat. It's, she's being herself, and I like that. I like that it's like be yourself, but be, just be mindful, be aware of your audience, because sometimes that's, read the room, I feel like there's that balance of being able to there's that balance of being yourself and kind of feeling everybody else, so that so you don't not necessarily step on any toes, but that people are more receptive of that energy. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I think that feels good, Gemini. I think I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, again, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Keep raising the vibration. See ya.